from humble beginnings to learning from your failures to becoming a great success. What is your success story? Chip Baker, The Success Chronicles. What's your definition of success?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles, and we're here with Dr. Curtis Null. And Dr. Null is the Deputy Superintendent in Conroe ISD, and I was fortunate enough to work underneath him for some years at Conroe High School, and a guy that truly cares for his people and makes sure that the atmosphere is a family atmosphere. And in doing that, we take care of business, but it's also a lot of fun, and we look out for one another. And it was really a pleasure to be able to work underneath him at Conroe High School. If you could just kind of talk to us about your life story, where you're from, how you grew up, and I know some things about your parents, those kind of things.
Absolutely.
You could explain that to us.
Yeah, I grew up in Northeast Houston. Went to C.E. King High School over Sheldon ISD. It's kind of over between North Shore, Channelview, and Humble over there. It was a good childhood. It was a mid-class neighborhood. It was not a place where there was a lot of money. It was a working class community.
Right.
Good people. Just good, solid people. Both my parents are educators. I'm an only child, so we grew up over there and just kind of grew up in the school because with both my parents being educators. My dad was a principal as I was growing up. He was actually my junior high principal when I was in junior high, which that created its own its own adventure. But it was good, and so from there, went on through C.E. King High School, graduated, and I was convinced from probably fourth grade up through high school and into college that I wanted to be a pharmacist.
Okay,
that was the plan, and it was dead set. There was no question. I chose my college based on pharmacy schools. I did everything based on pharmacy. So I chose U of H, went to U of H, and went in as a pharmacy major. And during my first year there at U of H, I started working in a pharmacy, and then realized that it's probably not going to be for me. It just wasn't enough action. Well, it was just a little too repetitive, and I didn't like it too much. So decided, man, I got to do something. And I think, it was probably God's will all along for me to be an educator. Mm-hmm. It just took me a little while to listen, And so when I finally did listen, making the move to education was what made sense. And
we may think we have a plan, but we really don't.
No, he's got the plan. And so we, I still had a great interest in medicine, and so when I switched to education, I switched over to sports medicine, athletic training as my major.
Okay.
So that was my major at U of H. I was an athletic trainer there, student athletic trainer. I worked at U of H for football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, and I did a 1-year internship with the Houston Oilers. All you young viewers, there used to be a team called the Houston Oilers. They're now the Tennessee Titans, but the last year they were in Houston, I did an internship for a year with them.
Cool.
And then went from there to the University of Florida after I graduated from University of Houston. Once again, focused on athletic training. Went and worked there with the Gators football program.
How cool was that experience?
It was pretty cool. Just there for 2 years. So, in a 2-year cycle, pretty much got to travel to all the greatest SEC, stadiums and see all that environment. So that was cool. And after that experience, came back home to Houston and began working at the Woodlands High School as an athletic trainer there. And that's when I first came to Conroe ISD. That was the year 2000 when I first came. So it's kind of been a journey. And then, since I've been home and back here, I've kind of had some different opportunities as well.
And as far as your career path, so you talked about, growing up, seeking, going to school, having those great experiences, U of H in Florida, and then coming back being an athletic trainer. You could just kind of talk about your career path from when you started up until now.
Well, I think my career path started when I was 15 years old. I had my first job. Here's another throwback. My first job was at Astro World.
Okay.
Another thing that none of the young, what is that?
Yeah.
That was my first job. And even through high school, had a couple of different jobs. I worked at Astro World, and then I worked at a restaurant for a while as a host because I wasn't old enough yet to be a waiter.
Mm-hmm.
Then I worked in a hospital as a transporter. So I was a guy that would go and pick up people, take them to CAT scan or take them for x-rays, whatever it would be. And so I had kind of these interesting jobs for a kid. But when I went into athletic training, I think the biggest thing that I learned in athletic training was how to work hard. And I don't think there's any substitute for hard work. And, sometimes people ask me, you spent so much of the first part of your career in athletic training, and then you switched into school administration. That doesn't necessarily make sense. How do you make that change? And to me, there's two big things about athletic training. It's serving others,
right,
and it's working hard.
I was thinking about when you were saying that too, like all your jobs are giving service.
Right. Yeah. So I think when you learn those things,
right,
and they've been instilled in me, I think, by my parents growing up. And
to be an educator, you have to do
that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's all, I'm fourth generation educator as well, and it's amazing to see the difference, your loved ones make on the lives of others.
Right.
And that was one of the reasons that, my sister and I are in education as well, because when we go places and, kids would see my mom and she wouldn't even see them and they're just smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like you're a celebrity.
Right. Like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big deal, career-wise, I went to the Woodlands High School as an athletic trainer, and in my mind, I was going to be a high school athletic trainer for my career.
Right.
That was my goal. I didn't go into that job with any other feeling. And probably in my second year there doing that, had somebody come to me and say, "Hey, have you ever thought about administration?" I said, "No, I haven't. I've never given any thought to that." I said, "Well, I think you should. Yeah. You should do that." And so, I listened and went and did that. So after 3 years as athletic trainer, I became an assistant principal at Knox Junior High. Mm-hmm. Was there for a year, and then made the move over to Magnolia. But left Conroe ISD for 2 years. Went to work for a friend of mine. Sometimes I think you do things for friends. And had a friend that was out in Magnolia as a principal. He had an assistant principal opening. He said, "I need you to come help me turn around the school." He was doing a lot of work there, and in a spot in his personal life where he said, "I need a friend, to work beside me." And so I said, "Well, I'll come be your guy." So
on the way,
So I went out there for 2 years, and it was a great experience, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot that I'm glad I did it because I learned some things that have probably reshaped my professional path later in my career. Is that I've learned that I like big districts like Conroe ISD. I like being in a place like this, and so it's probably kept me from making a move later on. So it was good to go get that experience, and I learned a lot there. But came back as a principal of Pete Junior High. That's where I first learned of the legend of Chip Baker at Pete Junior High. Everybody always talked about Chip Baker. Had the pleasure of hiring your sister there.
Right.
And still, all I ever heard about was Chip Baker. Oh, Chip Baker is such a great guy. And then to get a chance to meet you there at the high school, and then later to become the principal of Conroe High and work with you directly was pretty awesome. But, and so from there, was a principal for 7.5 years. Moved into administration here as assistant superintendent for secondary. Did that for 2 years, and then now in this deputy superintendent role. So it's just kind of been a progression, and none of which would I've really thought would have ever happened. It's not what I expected it to be.
But I think when you, just like you said, those two things, working hard and giving service, when you narrow it down to those two things, and you do that in your daily walk, which I can say that because I've seen you do that. People can say, yeah, I like to do this. I like to accomplish this.
Right.
But to actually be able to do it, and like I said, I can see that because I've been with you, seeing you do that.
Sure.
It makes a big difference in whatever you're doing, and things are always going to be great for you because it's not about me first. It's about what can I do to help others.
Well, and that's part of that is the beauty of the business we're in.
Right.
We get to work in a job that allows us to be not self-centered but focused on others and to be fulfilled in our work.
Exactly, extremely fulfilled.
I've got a friend, my best friend growing up all through elementary, and I was the best man at his wedding. He was the best man at my wedding. Very successful accountant, and he's married to a doctor, and she's very successful in the med center. He's telling me one day, he said, you and Monica, his wife, are very lucky because you can get fulfillment in your life through your job.
True.
He said, I can't do that. He said, I go to work and I make money for a company and I make rich people richer, but I don't get personal fulfillment through that. I have to seek that outside of my job. And he does a great job of that, volunteering and doing things. Mm-hmm. But he has to go seek that where we get to be blessed every day. Just coming to our job,
right, and have fun with it. What are 3 things that you've accomplished that you're proud of?
Wow, it starts with family,
right?
Been married to my wife almost 20 years. Started dating as sophomores in high school, and never once has there been a breakup. From the moment that we kind of became a couple, that's who we are. We're together, and that includes getting through college. She went to Sam Houston, I went to U of H. Going through that, a little distance there, getting married, moving across the country to Florida together. After we were married, and having that time to kind of really form our bond as a married couple. Mm-hmm. Having parents around is great, but it's good. You do learn something different, and I think it helped our relationship to mature because. Our relationship started as sophomores in high school. So you kind of you get into patterns or you see things that, even when dealing with your parents, how they deal with you as a couple, those kind of things. When we made that move, it really matured our relationship and formed that bond of this now as we become one. And so that was a big deal. And I think to be married, and people always say marriage is not easy; it's hard work, and I don't know if it's hard work. I don't know any different. To be honest with you, to me, it's great. It's what it is. But I don't feel like I go to work every day to get up and love my wife. That's not a job to me. That's
thankful to do it.
Yeah, happy to do that. It's not work.
Fortunate to be able to do it.
Now, it's not always easy, and you get your struggles, but it's easy. We've raised 2 great children. And want to be a senior next year, want to be a freshman, and I'm real proud of them. They not only did they do the best that they can do academically, and they push themselves academically, and they succeed there, but they, I think, have taken on the servant's heart. I see them want to give back. I see them want to serve others. I see them appreciating others for who they are, appreciating the diversity of our world, and and seeking it out. As I start to go through as a dad with the first kid going to college, this college process of picking, colleges, and to hear my son talk about looking at schools and saying, I like this school because I like the diversity of the school. It's like my high school. It's like what I'm used to. This is how I grew up. This is what I want. This is who I want to be surrounded by. That's a great thing. Probably number two is I think to this point I've made my parents proud. And I'm proud of that because I was blessed to be raised by great people that served others, wanted others to be successful, sacrificed for others, and so my dad is a guy who was, like I said, a junior high principal, became a central administrator, went back out even after he retired and subbed a lot in the school district over there. They've actually named a junior high after him in that community. And he does a lot of subbing here in Conroe ISD. And he's probably one of the most beloved guys you ever meet. Everybody loves Mr. Null, and so those are big shoes to fill. I know that walking every day that that people expect something from you because of how great your dad is, and so to me, if I could live up to them and make them proud, that's a big deal. And
what other man? It doesn't get bigger than having your name on a building,
right? Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's real big.
Yeah. But beyond the name on the building is great, and certainly that's something that for us as a family, we will always be able to drive by that building, and that'll have a special place in our heart.
What it took to the hard work that went into that.
Absolutely, and
that don't just happen.
No, and what I remember probably most vividly, in my administrative career, what shaped my administrative career. My dad retired from work right as I was becoming an administrator. So the year that he was retiring, the next year I became an assistant principal. So I remember going to his retirement party, and it was there at the junior high that he'd been the principal of for a long time, and cafeteria was full of people. And I'm seeing people that were former students that were now 40-something-year-old men that had come back. I'm seeing former teachers, former administrators, district administrators, cafeteria workers, custodians, all these different people come back. And people got up on the mic and spoke. And that was so impactful to listen to what those people said and how he loved them, he cared for them, and it wasn't a different message from his former custodian as it was from his former assistant principal. It was the same message of love and caring and service, and I thought, wow, that's what it's about. So that was real impactful. It's just a big deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then probably third thing what I'm most proud of is seeing the people that I serve succeed. See Chip Baker, man, on YouTube, and get just getting it. That's great, and to see teachers that I've served blossom into great teachers, or assistant principals that gone on to become principals, or still assistant principals, but they're great at it, and they're serving and making a difference every day. And hopefully, I've touched them a little bit and helped them in their craft, and maybe most importantly, students. I go on your channel and I see former students. I see kids that I have in 7th grade through high school. Sarah Williams and the Fade God. I see Darius on there working, and that's neat for me because those are kids that I worked with for a long time and watching them grow from children to adults. Right. And you just hope as educators, did I play a piece? Those kids were great, but did I play a piece to help? Give them a little bit to grow and become better and want more for themselves. You hope that you do.
Right. What is your definition of success?
Wow, that's a hard one. I mean, I know the channel's built on the word success, but success to me can almost have a negative connotation, because when most people think about success, they want to make it comparative. You know, I'm successful when you look at me compared to this person or that person, and sometimes. So you think that is success the way to look at it, or is excellence the way to look at it? Because excellence to me becomes internal. It's about me. It's about me doing the best that I can do, me being the best that I can be in my situation. Versus success often drives people to compare yourself to others, and I don't think it's about comparing yourself to others. When you think about success, I think it's about just staying at it. And I'm gonna cheat because I don't get the good word wrong. But one of my favorite quotes, Galatians 6:9. Okay, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we don't give up. And so, to me, success is not giving up and reaching the end. And I think thinking biblically, the harvest is not about for you; it's about for others. So. Being successful means I stuck with it, whatever it was. I mean, it's everybody has their own journey,
and planting that seed.
Yes, absolutely.
So that those people around you that you love can
absolutely. So yes, but that to me would be my internal definition of success, is that I stayed with it until whatever it was time to harvest. Be it a student, be it my children, be it my marriage, whatever it may be, that you stay to it and you get there.
What do you think it takes to achieve success?
Like we talk about hard work, I haven't found a substitute yet.
No.
I wish there was. I wish there was something you could do, but I haven't found it. Okay, I just think there is a level of hard work that has to be done. I think along with that and tied directly to it is sacrifice. It's hard to get where you want to be. It's hard to be a high school student, and when everybody else is going to go out and do some things that maybe are questionable, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just going out to have a good time. But you got a test tomorrow. That's a sacrifice. And some people can't make that, and some people can. I think to be successful, you have to be somebody that can and will make the sacrifice. And if you're willing to work hard and you're willing to sacrifice, the other big thing to me is you got to believe. And I think it starts in a big biblical sense of you got to believe. But then beyond that, whatever the task is at hand, you got to believe that it's possible. Because if you don't believe that it's possible, it won't be possible. And so in my journey, it's been leading schools or whatever it may be. And so if as the principal, or now as leading the district, if I didn't stand up there and couldn't convince people that we can do this, we can make this happen, they never can do it. It won't happen. So you have to believe. I got a sign in my office that sits directly across from my desk, and I've had it since I was the principal at Pete Junior High, and it just says believe, and it's always been in my office, and it's always been where when I'm sitting at my desk, I can see that, and it's just a reminder of you got to believe. And then that will become contagious.
Good deal. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to interview with the Success Chronicles, and thanks for all that you do. And thank you guys for watching this episode of the Success Chronicles. We'll see you next time. God bless.